Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Two weeks, 4 races, 1 winner. Nick Ludicky, rather. We learned that one last week. Nick Ludicky cannot be touched and has the points lead to go along with it. Welcome to the Pacific Challenge Cup Series on Pit Stop TV. Andrew Cardinale with JP Costa alongside Emerson Arden on our social media coverage this evening. It's good to be back for another week of Pacific Challenge action, joining you on our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter platforms for the second round of the 5-race season in this month of May. We take a look this evening immediately at the track that these drivers are attacking this evening. It is the very, very famous, very, very legendary Hockenheimring Grand Prix circuit. This is a fantastic little course, JP. I shouldn't say little course. It is one of the larger ones that we've had so far this season. Of course, much longer than Oran Park last week. It's pretty complicated, I'd say. It's certainly more complicated than its past iterations. You go through the Nord curve. Turn 1, the north curve, into turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. That little complex is your first piece of interesting driving before turning left around Parabolica, a very long, sweeping left-hander into the hairpin, the first big heavy braking zone of the course. That'll take you down to turn 7 into Mercedes, and this is where things get very geometric. Really, the whole track is very geometric. Certainly a big detour from courses like Nürburgring and in Oran Park to open up the season, and very different from Road Atlanta next week and Laguna Seca in 2 weeks. So I think this race stands out as... well, every race this season will be technical, but this layout looks so much more technical. It's a lot more geometric. It just stands out from the rest.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of the, I guess, the Formula One modern circuits that we're used to seeing, and will provide a fantastic racing. You know, we see a lot of series running this track, and each of the series obviously has its own challenges, let it being more power, more downforce, all this sort of stuff, but everything just kind of comes together in this, I guess, nice way we can call it. And well, with the Cup cars, you can't really go wrong. You can throw them on any racetrack and they'll provide great racing. But I guess in Hockenheim it will be something special. It's kind of a home race for the cars as well. So I'm expecting something special here tonight.
We take a look also at our point standings coming into this evening, and you know, I can't disagree with Joseph out in the YouTube chat. It's felt like the Nick Ludicky Cup Series so far. 2 sprint wins, 2 feature wins, 4 race wins overall in the 4 race wins that we, or 4 possible races that we've had so far. You see points after 2 rounds of 5. We've got 3 to go, including this evening, so this marks the halfway point. Now, what is interesting is that tie for second place between Brady Lubenow and Mikkel Rudebusch. They have exactly mirrored results from the last 2 weeks. That leaves them tied at 63 points. James Hansen comes in the 4th spot, just 2 points back. A little bit further back, you'll find BC Voigt, Corey Peters, Wade Haynes, David Flanagan, they're tied. Chris Brennemer, Cody Johnson, they're very close. But it really is all that guy at the very top going purple here in qualifying, Nick Luedecke running the show.
Yeah, the first 2 races were absolutely dominating by him, dominating performances. No one was even close at all on those 4 races that we had. And, well, tonight it could be more of the same. Obviously, he's going to be facing new challenges that we're going to be talking about in a moment. But so far, it's going his way. He's on provisional pole at the moment, and it doesn't look like he's going to be anywhere lower than that at this moment in time.
No, I wouldn't expect him to drop from that pole position, but who knows? And he certainly will not start on pole for every race this evening, I don't think, considering we have a new race format. Let's take a look at it. Sprint 1, it's just about the same as it was, although 5 minutes shorter. 15 minutes, the grid is set by qualifying. That's normal. That's what we've had these last 2 weeks. But things change up from there. Now, to our knowledge, points are being rewarded the same way. So now there's more points per round, but we're throwing in a second sprint race. Also 15 minutes, but the grid is set by Sprint 1's race results in the reverse order. That is the biggest change up. Nick was talking about it the last couple of weeks. I was on production, so I didn't get to comment on it, but I think this will really change things up, and I think everybody has to be excited for that reverse grid order. And the interesting thing is the feature is being set by the results of the second sprint race, also in reverse order. So somebody finishes up front in Sprint 1, can't quite get back through the field in Sprint 2, they could get put right back up in the front of the start of the feature race. So a lot is going to change up this evening. I would imagine Nick Luedecke should start pretty deep in both the second sprint and the feature race.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure sprint number 2 is going to be posting, I guess, the pace for our feature race by being half length. We're going to see a lot more attacking from the drivers. Obviously, a lot more points in the standings, having 2 drivers tied up for second, and obviously James Hansen just 2 points behind. We're definitely going to be seeing a lot of drivers attacking sprint number 2, and obviously the feature race, 100% of the points available for the taking. So we're going to be seeing a lot of drivers, I guess, taking risks here tonight, because we're approaching kind of the end of the season. This is the halfway point, so if you want to make up some points, this is the time.
You mentioned about, well, it is halfway point in the season this evening. Next week we go to Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta, before we finish the season off on May 31st, Memorial Day here in the States, WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. So just these 3 rounds left to crown a champion in this very short... The season itself is a sprint, much like the 2 races that we'll see that take up just 15 minutes this evening. So I'm very much a fan of changing things up this evening, going for the, well, dual sprint race format, and boy, a lot's going to change. We should still see that pit stop in the feature race. I think the fuel has been tweaked to match. A lot is going to change up this evening, and this guy is finally put on the hot seat for the first time so far in 3 rounds now. We might see something change. This guy, he's just so good. And if we look at iRating, he's got the field beat by about 1,100, it seems like. So it makes sense that he is dominating the show. But man, I think we're all looking forward to, even if he wins all 3 races this evening, watching him have to come through the field.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely going to be interesting to see, because obviously, I guess all our bets are on him winning the first sprint race, but obviously that's going to put him on the back foot for the second feature race. So seeing what he can do from the back of the grid with only 15 minutes, it's going to definitely be interesting to see where he can attack, because so far we haven't seen him overtaking anyone, and it's going to be interesting to see how he tackles some of the opponents, where he does it, how he does it. So a lot of questions could be answered here tonight.
Let's take a look at some of the other qualifying times coming in this evening. Of course, you've seen Nick Luedecke, I'm going to get used to that one. Luedecke go purple twice in this session. Brady Lubenow currently sitting second, just 4.5 tenths back of Luedecke. Christian Gurgis making his first start of the season. He comes in that 151 car. Glad to see him in the field this evening. He is currently set in the third spot in qualifying. That could, of course, change. We've got Curtis Jones back in the field. He's currently fourth. Mikael Rudebush currently fifth. Ruttimer, Hansen, Peters, Hayes, Johnson, Voigt, and Flanagan round out our 12 cars that have shown up this evening. So good to see a couple of cars back. Certainly better than the 8 cars we saw at Oran Park.
Yeah, exactly. This grid is kind of filling up. It's great to see some of the new names actually that we haven't seen so far. Obviously, Christian Gurgis being the main name, but it's definitely interesting to see how close qualifying is. Obviously, Christian jumping in straight and going to third place, less than half a tenth. I mean, 0.03 of a second behind Brady Lubenow, who's a second place championship contender. So the grid is very close. This is definitely going to be posing not only for a great sprint race, but overall it's going to be a great night for racing with, I mean, the whole grid separated by less than 1.5 seconds.
Just taking a look at some of our onboards as you see Luedecke go even faster here in qualifying, opens up an extra couple of tenths back to Brady Lubenow here in qualifying. I love these onboards, especially for road races. This really adds a good bit to our coverage. I'm so glad we're able to have these onboards just about anywhere we want on the race car. It really does add something as BC Voigt's going to go around to the final corner here at Hockenheimring. Also very glad that we have this racetrack on the service. This is one that I'm actually not as familiar with. I've gotten pretty used to all the content that we have on iRacing. This one sticks out. This is my first experience with the course at all, be it in commentary, racing, anything like that. This is my first experience with Hockenheimring, so I'm glad that we're always getting new things added to the sim. Hockenheimring, the newest in that list. And fantastic job that iRacing has done with it. You even see the official safety truck of iRacing as qualifying comes to a close. You see time running out. They should get a moment here. Maybe not. It looks like they won't have any extra time to run any extra laps. So we will run straight into our first sprint race then. Now, in case you're wondering how they have this set up in the iRacing.com sim, and in case you're curious, in case you're familiar with how those races get set up, this is being run as our first heat. Then we will have a consolation that takes us into our second sprint race of the evening before we go into a feature race. Let's go ahead and walk down the grid right quick. Our 12 cars this evening. Nick Luedecke goes fastest in qualifying. Brady Lubenow second place. Starting third, it's Christian Gurgis. Starting fourth, Curtis Jones. Starting fifth this evening, it'll be Mikael Rudebush. And finishing out the top half of the field, you've got the 97 of Corey Peters.
Starting off in P number 7, we do have the number 2 of Chris Berman, right alongside him, the number 1 of James Hansen in 8th place. Starting off in 9th place in row number 5, we do have Wade Hayes on the inside, and on his outside, we do have Cody Johnson in his number 5 Porsche. And finishing up the grid in 11th place, we do have BC Voigt, and right alongside him, the number 789 of David Flanagan on the outside lane.
So 12 cars lined up, well, getting lined up on the grid, still waiting on a few guys to actually get to the grid and get lined up for this race. You can see everybody lined up in their standing start grid positions, and I like that they got that nailed down at Oran Park last week and have it nailed down apparently for this evening as well. Certainly adds a big element. We're getting ready, getting set to turn them loose. Red lights are on. Waiting on the green lights, everybody revving their motors, waiting. The green flag is displayed, and we're rolling from Hockenheimring. Through the first corner, we have our first lead change of the season. Brady Lubenow takes over through turn 1 into turn 2. A big heavy braking zone as Luedecke cross him up. No, not quite. This is already proving to work.
Perfect start from Brady Lubenow, just like we saw last week. Looks like Nick Luedecke cannot get the start nailed down, but he's on the slipstream. He's going to be pulling to the outside, the inside of turn 5, the outside of turn 6. Can he get the move done on the outside? They're side by side as they go through the massive back straight. They're going to be going side by side under braking. Can he force his way down the outside? No, he can. He's going to be switching the crossover. Looks like they both go wide, and we do have a bit of a car park on the hairpin.
With an incident there, we keep rolling. The top two keep with it. Everybody third on back, bobbles up. Lubenow still leads. Ruderbusch takes over third place. We'll get a replay once this first lap finishes through. That promotes James Hansen into that fourth position, with Christian Gurgis taking over fifth. A whole lot has changed. Nobody's terribly off pace, but we do have Corey Peters much further behind the field as we work into the final portion, the final sector of the first lap.
So we're going to have the first car leading off a different race. It's not going to be Nick Ludicky. It's going to be Brady Lubenow. Fantastic start from him, and as he rounds off turns 13. And he looks like he has a healthy gap. Obviously, both drivers made a mistake on the hairpin, but he looks like he has a healthy gap, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to be giving up that easily as he rounds off the final corner, and gains one position on the first lap to lead lap number 1 of tonight's race.
So Lubenow leads that first lap. You see the rest of the field lined up behind. Let's take a look back at what happened back there in the hairpin. Certainly a lot to go on, a lot to cover in that first lap. And this is into turn 2, and we'll watch this all kind of develop around that third position. You see Ruderbusch, he had moved up into fourth. That's ahead of Curtis Jones in the 9 car, who had fallen into fifth. And it looks like Gurgis was ahead of Ruderbusch. And it all kind of happens. In fact, I believe there was even contact with Ludicky. He may pick up damage here in turn number 6. Let's watch it through into turn 6. Ludicky on the outside, Lubenow on the inside, and Gurgis into the corner. Tried to fit it up the inside, and Ludicky turned in, and there was contact.
Yeah, I guess that was a bit of a racing incident. Obviously, Ludicky wanted to open the corner as much as possible to try and get the cutback, but unfortunately, there was a car on the inside that kind of missed his braking zone, was carrying a bit too much speed, and it kind of door banged. So hopefully Nick doesn't have a lot of damage. Hopefully his car is a-okay, but as we do have another move, looks like on the Mercedes Arena, they're going to be going side by side, but looks like, I'm pretty sure that's Mikael Ruderbusch. He's going to be holding his position for the time being.
You see, this is the midfield, everything holding tight up front. Lubenow still leads by 4/10. These guys 3 to 4 seconds behind as James Hansen gets himself sorted out of it. Ruderbusch holds on to that spot now over Christian Gurgis, but he looks to the inside into turn 12, and boy, Gurgis has a lot of damage on that nose already. We can show it from this onboard. You can see how crinkled up that right front is. He's got to be careful as he keeps sending it up the inside of these drivers. At some point, he's going to face suspension damage, and of course, he's going to be down on straight line speed with that aero damage. So he's got to be careful as this race goes on. Thankfully, it's just the sprint race. But look at that. Ludicky goes purple that lap, despite actually, it felt like he lost some time that lap to Lubenow. He's now a half second back.
Looks like now we're going to see the Nick Ludicky that we're kind of used to as he is approaching fast. As you can see now, he has a lot of damage as well on, looks like, the right front quarter panel of his Porsche. So he's going to be losing a bit of straight line speed. He's going to be losing a bit of downforce, but that clearly is not stopping him from posting the fastest lap of the race. As you can see now, he pulls on the slipstream, and well, he doesn't look like he's catching up a whole lot, so that damage could be costing him. And he's definitely going to, if he wants to overtake, he's definitely going to have to be brave under braking.
Well, he's still got 10 minutes to sort this out. He's got a while yet as James Hansen wide on exit of turn 6. That's going to open the floodgates as everybody's now within striking distance into these next couple of corners. Turn 7, that right-hander into this nice little arena-like complex. They didn't quite join in on that battle quite as quickly as I would have expected. Ruderbusch couldn't quite capitalize, but boy, that opens the door a couple of times. But this tango up front, these two are going to do battle, I would imagine, for these next 10 minutes. It's going to take a lot for Ludicky to get by Lubenow on this kind of course.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be definitely difficult, especially with that damage. That's definitely not going to be helping him at all, but he looks to be so confident. He's posting the pace that we saw in qualifying, you know, a 6/10 gap to Brady Lubenow, who's right ahead of him, and it looks like Brady might be feeling a bit of the pressure right now. Obviously, they're all seeking for the first victory, and Nick is seeking to defend his 100% win record so far, but well, looks like it kind of slips away on the final sector, but he definitely seems to be a bit more confident on the first few corners and seems to be able to catch up a lot quickly.
So it's not even the format change this evening catching Ludicky off guard. It was just the start of the race. Lubenow had the advantage into turn 1. I think that was set by, of course, the odd-numbered positions, so first, third, fifth, and so on, being lined up on the outside into turn 1. Everybody else being lined up on the inside. I think that promoted that lead change, and I'm glad it did. Lubenow up to the top spot. Nothing against Nick, but this is a fantastic little battle to watch as Nick sizes him up. We're running about 1 minute 41s, 1 minute 40s. He goes around the outside that time, does Ludique. Now he crosses him up, and he's up to the inside for turn 7. This is an opportunity. He might have him.
Now he's going to be on the inside of turn 7. He's going to have the outside of turn 8. Now, can Brady hold it down on the inside? Can Ludique hold it down on the outside? He's going to be looking into the crossover.
Fantastic
but once
defense.
again, he's going to be looking on the outside. Can he do it? He's going to be looking into a third crossover, and now he's going to have the inside lane. So, unfortunately, he loses a bit of momentum on the exit, but this is turning out to be amazing battling, and this is what we want to see from Nick. Trying to pass someone ahead of him, not lapping them.
That was a fantastic defense. Now at the inside in 12, and he's got there through the slightly banked corner, and that's going to put Lubenow on the outside. I don't know if he can continue to defend. He's going to try up on the sausage curbs. He lunges into the final couple of corners, and Ludique crosses him up on the inside. Oh, and he gave him the room. That was definitely sketchy. Brady closed the door. Brady knows he's got a race like that. If he wants to hang on to a possible race win, he has got to cut off Ludique. That, if there was contact, that would have been all Brady's fault, possibly a steward's decision later on, but Nick saw it coming, he backed out, and I like it.
That was an extremely brave maneuver on the inside. He's defending for his life right now, and we still have over 7 minutes to go, and now Nick is closer than ever on the exit of turn 4. He's definitely going to be having that slipstream. I'm sure Brady's going to be going to the inside to block that outside lane, but Nick definitely has the momentum. Can Brady defend it? As they go into their hairpin, they're going to be going side by side once again on the braking zone. Who's bravest on the brakes? Looks like they're both pretty equal, but look at it. Nick just opening up the corner. He's going to be having the greatest switchback, and they're going to be going side by side once again. This is just rinse and repeat from last lap.
It absolutely is the exact same thing he tried the last time through, but with older tires, Lubenow just can't quite hang on, gives up the race lead to Nick Ludique, but he certainly made Nick work for it. I like what we're getting to see so far, and we've got a lot to look forward to in this second sprint, and that is where things are going to get different. But there's some damage, and Nick's tires are hot. He used that car up in more ways than one, and Brady might have a chance of staying with him, cooling his stuff back down, because I don't think Nick can relax. This is the first time so far this season, now in our 5th race of competition, this is the first time that he cannot relax.
Yeah, exactly. He cannot relax. He has to absolutely nail this last and first sector, essentially, because Brady is going to be all over his back if they go this close on the back straight. You can see Brady is just so much more confident on the final sector. That definitely has to do. I'm betting on the damage that Nick is carrying over, but they're going to be going not side by side. They're going to be going extremely close on turn 1. That's definitely going to be compromising Brady a little bit, as he cannot spot the turn-in zone, but he's close enough to get the slipstream and trying to slingshot his way into their hairpin. Now it's just a question of getting the right exit, not spinning those tires, getting the right amount of traction, and you're golden for the hairpin.
So Ludique up to the race lead. This gap is only a few tenths now. About 3 tenths to be exact, but they've got 2 seconds back to James Hansen. Another sizable gap to Mikkel Rudebusch and to Curtis Jones. A fight into turn 6. Lubenow back up the inside, and does he get there? Oh my gosh, I mean almost. He was so close to putting that nose up the inside of the 16 car, just couldn't quite hang that time. There aren't really any other battles aside from maybe for 10th spot just yet. We've got to stick with this lead though.
Brady is absolutely braver under braking. Looks like at the moment Nick had to open up the corner on the hairpin to avoid any contact, and you can see it right now. Brady just has the advantage of having the clean car, the not damaged car, and well, he's definitely using that. He is putting Nick under pressure. That's not something we saw throughout the season, and well, I'm definitely enjoying this. This is definitely a new challenge, not only for us, but also for Nick.
Fantastic stuff we've seen so far. They continue in lockstep formation. Lubenow just hanging on to the back end of that 16 car. You see everybody else snaking through this little arena, and we will exit the final couple of corners and rejoin everybody by the paddock for yet another lap. This will complete lap number 6 of an expected 9. You see just under 5 minutes to go in this race, and just like that, we're already into these closing stages, thinking about how we might line up this field for sprint race number 2. Well, David Flanagan would currently have pole, and he's got it by some 17 seconds or so over Corey Peters. Sorry, no, that was 13. Now it comes down to 12. But still, a large margin from Peters back to Flanagan. Then Voigt in that 10th spot would line up 3rd. Wade Hayes a little ways ahead, and then you've got Chris Brunnemer, you've got Christian Gurgis, you got Cody Johnson, Curtis Jones, and more.
I'm definitely excited to see the midfield battle there. We're going to have, we're going to switch up the whole grid, but the midfield is extremely close to one another, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see. As you can see, a massive battle just on the top of your screen. As you can see, someone is going down the inside. Everybody's going down the inside of everybody here, as Chris Brunnemer is the last car on that bright red Porsche, and it looks like everybody made it cleanly. Now, I'm wondering if we had a lot of switching positions, because looks like Cody Johnson made a move on, yeah, that is Curtis Jones. As you can see now, the 151 of Gurgis, a massive dive bomb, and he makes it work.
He's being aggressive this evening. He takes that spot from Curtis Jones and moves the 9 car back into 7th in this race. And of course, these points are valuable. I'm glad these guys aren't just thinking about the second race. I mean, they want to get these points, and they'd rather battle for it in sprint race number 2. And that is when a format is succeeding. Sometimes you'll have guys that go in sandbag, and you never want that. You want these guys to race hard in this first race, get all that they can get, and they are doing so in the midfield this evening. The blue and black and white car that we're watching is the 151 of Christian Gurgis, making his first start all season, so he's got to get all the points that he can if he wants to run up through the field. But Cody Johnson missed last week. He's now into the top 5. He showed a lot of signs of life at Nürburgring, and I like what we're seeing from him so far this evening. Got through that midfield battle and is working his way up slowly. Now, he's going to be behind them for the start of our second race, but I still like what I'm seeing out of the 5 cars so far. Gurgis, maybe, he looked, but he is going to go. Oh my goodness.
Gurgis is definitely pushing the limits to start the furthest back from this group. It's just amazing to see all 4 cars battling to see who starts further behind. And, well, I'm loving this. As you can see now, Chris Brunnemer is going to be looking on the inside of both drivers, as we do have, looks like Corey Peters. He may have spun out as we're going 3 wide on turn 5 on Parabolica.
Ooh.
Are they going to be making contact? No, he's not. Now, can Brunnemer make it move down the outside? Yes, he can. Double move from Brunnemer. Amazing.
That was incredible from Chris Brunnemer. That's why these cars are so fantastic, these Porsche 911 GT3 Cup cars. But that is going to split that battle up a good bit. But around the outside, nonetheless, for Chris Brunnemer, fantastic move down on the hairpin of turn 6. You saw Corey Peters for a moment. He had slowed down quite a bit out of turn 2. I think he may have had some help going around, and now sits in the 11th position, some 5 seconds back of Wade Hayes. So problems for him, but we continue on regardless. And actually, he's now within 3 seconds of David Flanagan, and he's got around again. He's had more problems.
That looks like it wasn't the Mercedes arena. I'm not going to be calling it so early. We're going to be checking on the Pit Stop TV replay. But he looks like he had a lot of mistakes on this lap. Could see some hardware issues. We're going to be seeing it right now, essentially. He's coming up, looks like, on turn 7. And going to the Mercedes arena. Well, looks like he's losing the car under braking, under turning.
Really slow right here, too, and just throws the car around.
Yeah, looks like he had a bit of damage, because that car didn't look quite straight to me, but unfortunately for him, looks like a lot of damage, and that's unfortunately going to be last place. But luckily for him, pole position for the next sprint race.
While all of that has gone down over the last couple of laps, these two have not changed positions. James Hansen's still a little ways back. Nothing has changed through the top 4. And Nick Ludicky will lead into turn number 6 for the final time in sprint race number 1. I'm not so sure Lubenow can get there, but he's going to give it his darndest. He's going to give it a shot. We've got just a handful of corners left, but 2 very valuable complexes if he can get them right.
Yeah, exactly. He has a few opportunities to try and make the move. You can see how hard he's pushing.
Oh, he might go!
He's gonna be going. Oh, that's a late braking, and he made it stick. Even if he wasn't on the racing line, he actually made it stick. So Nick definitely has to be watching his mirrors on this final lap. He has, I guess, 1 late opportunity on turn 13, so a bit further back. But if he has enough confidence, he could dive bomb and try and get that win.
Brady's great in the braking zones, but those high-speed corners, the sweepers, where he carries so much momentum, Nick has got him beat. You saw Brady hop the curb out of that first little arena, and that sets him back. So, Out of the final couple of corners here in sprint race number 1 at Hockenheimring, Nick Luedecke keeps it 100%, keeps back 1,000, and he will win the first race this evening in round number 3 of the Pacific Challenge Cup Series. The first sprint race goes to Nick Luedecke in the number 16. The rest of your results coming across the line: Brady Lubenow, James Hansen, Mikkel Rudebusch, Cody Johnson takes 5th. Chris Brunnemer wins that battle with Gurgis for the 6th spot. That puts Gurgis 7th. Curtis Jones in 8th, BC Voigt in the 9th position across the line. Flanagan moves up to 10th as Wade Hayes has problems in the final lap. He will finish 11th position, with Corey Peters rounding out the field, and I think Wade Hayes may have run out of fuel.
Yeah, looks like that car looks slow. That car looks damaged as well, so not a great final lap. But luckily for him, he has another 15 minutes to try and get the most amount of points, and well, he's going to be starting on 2nd place, so he can definitely make a comeback race after this.
Just like that, we're ready to go for sprint race number 2 this evening from the Hockenheimring. Let's take a look at our starting grid for this second race. It's a reverse of those results I just ran through rather quickly, so we'll do this rather quickly as well. Corey Peters on pole, then Wade Hayes in 2nd. Starting 3rd will be David Flanagan in the 789. 4th will be BC Voigt. Starting 5th, it's Curtis Jones. 6th, Christian Gurgis. Starting 7th this evening for sprint race number 2, Chris Brunnemer, then Cody Johnson in 8th. In 9th, Mikkel Rudebusch, James Hansen in 10th. And the back row of the starting grid for sprint number 2, it's Brady Lubenow and race winner, Nick Luedecke. So just like that, we've reversed the field and we're ready to go for 15 more minutes of racing.
Now it's going to be interesting to see how the drivers that fared, I guess, quite badly on the final race will be handling the pressure of starting on pole, essentially. So a lot of things to watch out for. Obviously, the few drivers are further back, as we do have 5 red lights and these drivers are ready to go.
Ready to do it for 15 more minutes from the Hockenheimring, waiting on that green flag. Green flag flies, well, green lights fly anyways, and oh boy, this is going to get aggressive. 3 wide down to turn 1. Hayes up the inside, takes the lead. 3 wide on exit as well. Peters could not capitalize on that first starting position. He's already fallen into 3rd, maybe 4th. Almost contact. Cody Johnson off momentarily. Luedecke up the inside. 3, 4, 5, 6 positions for Luedecke in the 2nd corner.
Well, that's just a perfect start. He didn't get the perfect start. He's going to be on the outside of 2 more cars, and he's going to be finding himself, I guess, on the top 6 at this moment in time. So a fantastic start from him. He left Brady Lubenow on the dust, as we do have a battle for the lead right now, as they're going to be going side by side on their hairpin. This could end in tears, but I'm pretty sure it won't. They're going to be going side by side. No contact, both cleanly, and looks like everybody made it cleanly. Nick Luedecke almost got collected there.
Yeah, that was Brunnemer who almost moved in front of that 16 car. He now pushes BC Voigt a little bit wide into the entry of 7, and Luedecke sits behind both of them. The race lead is up for grabs between Wade Hayes in the 83 and David Flanagan in that 789. They stay in lockstep formation now on the opening lap of sprint race number 2. We're working into the evening here at the Hockenheimring. It's about 7:30 local time in the sim, and boy, for Germany, we're getting a little bit late.
Yeah, exactly. The track temperature and the tire temperatures are going to be dropping, so grip is going to be quite a challenge for these drivers, but looks like none of them care, as Nick already finds himself on 4th place. So a fantastic start from him. And unfortunately, our pole sitter is dropping back on the grid, as Chris Brunnemer now is challenging for 2nd.
Brunnemer up to 3rd and challenging that 789. He's got speed. He could lead a couple of laps here in this the second sprint race rather. And 1 lap complete. Wade Hayes leads. Flanagan 2nd, then Brunnemer, Luedecke, Voigt, Peters, Rudebusch, and more as we work into turn number 2. Just up ahead. Does Brunnemer try and make a move here? Now, I thought that would have been an opportunity to try a late braking attempt to at least gain some time. It looks like he gains time on exit though, so Brunnemer's got this car figured out, at least against Wade Hayes and David Flanagan. He's up into 3rd, and I think he's going to have a move into turn 6.
Could we see a double move like we saw in the previous sprint race? Everybody is very close. David Flanagan is getting extremely close to Wade Hayes. Can he put up a late move? Looks like not close enough. And Brunnemer kind of is forced on the outside. Can he get the switchback? Looks like he can, as we do have a big battle here. Further back, looks like our pole sit is dropping back even more. Peters is not having a fantastic race. And Lubenow is unfortunately on 10th place right now. He cannot capitalize on a good start.
Oh, and Brennemer up the inside into turn 8 was that. Hops the curb a little bit, but he makes that pass on Flanagan. A challenge, though. They stay side by side. Not really. Ludicky. Oh, that was a shot from Flanagan. He gave Chris Brennemer a nice little boot. And they, wow, I'm surprised he saved that. Ludicky up the inside. He'll make quick work of the 789. And now he's got his work cut out for him for second and first up ahead. I like the reverse start, but golly, he's just too good at it. A lock up there from Brennemer. We keep racing.
Yeah, exactly. Ludicky didn't get the best start on heat race number 1, but, well, I'll be damned. He got the perfect start on race number 2. He's already in 3rd place. He's going to be challenging Chris. Now, who will lead a lap first? Will it be Chris Brennemer? Will it be Nick Ludicky? Only time will tell, but those two are definitely fast. And Wade Hayes, I'm pretty sure he's going to be looking at that mirror. He's going to be looking at that fastest lap. And, well, he's going to be feeling the pressure, let's say.
Ludicky goes purple that time through and all over the back end of the 2-car of Chris Brennemer. I think Wade Hayes has enough of a cushion that Ludicky will get to Brennemer before Brennemer gets to him. I think we've got a battle for second place on our hands this lap and a battle for the lead the next time through. That 16 car is just too good.
Yeah, exactly. That 16 car is less than 0.2 of a second behind the number 2 car. So we're definitely going to be seeing a move on the hairpin. He's looking on the inside. Can he be later on the brakes? Looks like he can. He's going to be pushing Chris Brennemer on the limit. Looks like Wade Hayes locks up and they almost touch. The number 16 almost gave the number 2 the bumper in, but luckily for them, both cars keep pointing at the right direction.
A flash there from Brennemer up to leader Wade Hayes. He was not thrilled with that because it almost jeopardized his second position. Now Brennemer completely out of control, and he is off maybe into the barriers as he saved the race car. I think he saves it, but what a slide. He comes back in, and oh, he makes Cody Johnson save the car side by side. Almost pushes him off. That was an interesting rejoin, but we keep racing. Wade Hayes still your race leader. Ludicky, that's the easiest pass he'll have all night.
Yeah, exactly. That was pretty much on a platter. He just saw essentially the number 2 cars just drifting across his screen, and well, luckily for him, no contact, no harm, no foul, and he's up in second place now. 0.7 of a second separating him from the place that he used to the lead, and we're definitely going to be seeing some challenge at least on the next lap.
The other battles further back, we're watching BC Voigt, Mikkel Rudebush, and Corey Peters. This is 4th through 6th on the racetrack now in front of Chris Brennemer. Ludicky goes faster. Ooh! Corey Peters, how about that purple lap from the 97? We're on board with him now as he heads down to turn number 2. This is all the midfield stuff, not a whole lot happening until you get back to guys like Curtis Jones, it looks like. This is a nice little gaggle, and ooh, Brady Lubenow, he's looking for 9th spot. Oh, nose to tail, almost made contact, but as I say that, we've had a problem for Wade Hayes. He got out of turn number 4 terribly and gives up not only first, but second place as well.
Oh, looks like he got all out of shape on the first sector, on the end of the first sector. Looks like it was on that small sequence of turns 2, 3, and 4. We're going to be taking a look at the replay, and unfortunately for our race leader, well, he unfortunately lost the lead after leading a few laps. We're going to be seeing it looks like he's all in control under braking for turn number 2. Looks like he just a bit too much throttle. Luckily for him, he only half spins and saves it. But all that momentum is gone, and unfortunately, he lost 2 positions.
But this gives us one heck of a battle further back as we come back out of our pit stop TV replay. You'll see 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, all in a line back through Corey Peters. This is going to get fun. Flanagan now leads this little group. Hayes in 2nd of the 5 cars battling. BC Voigt's in the center. Rudebush is in this, and Peters brings up caboose.
Well, this is a fantastic battle for essentially P2 at this moment in time. And, well, this is a nice train. All drivers looks like they have the same pace. And this is going to be interesting to see where each driver shows its strength and its weaknesses. But, well, looks like Wade Hayes is definitely eager to get back on that second place as Nick once again goes fastest. The first driver, I guess the only driver so far to drop below the 41s. But looks like this battle looks like Wade Hayes is definitely on something. He's going to be looking on the inside of turn 2. Not quite. He's going to be waiting, but we do have the number 22, Mikkel Rudebush, making a move on the number 64. He looks on the inside, doesn't make contact, but he's going to be carrying the momentum on the turn 5 on the back straight.
Side by side through Parabolica, and the 64 holds on, do it, but Rudebush up the inside, and he's going to have an advantage, obviously, for turn 6, as Flanagan has trouble. He's got Hayes all over the back end, but Rudebush, the challenge for 4th, Does he get it through the hairpin? He does. Almost hip checks the 64 off of the pavement. They keep it fair. They keep it square. And they'll race down to turn 7.
Because Bush does a perfect move on the inside, kind of just forces the number 64 out. Fair move, fair game. He's now up in 4th place, and he's going to be challenging. He has those eyes, and he wants that podium, I'm pretty sure. So he's going to be challenging Wade Hayes and David Flanagan on the upcoming laps. As now BC Void looks like he's going to be having to fend off from pole sitter Corey Peters.
And a battle brewing a little further back in the field. We'll touch on this for a moment as Lubenow has trouble here from Curtis Jones. This is 10th and 11th, and just in front of them, Christian Gurgis is having to hang on. I think he might have just gotten by that 5 car of Cody Johnson that we were speaking so highly of earlier on. So these guys back here, they just cannot invert themselves after the initial invert, but that'll be interesting for the feature race because they will start further up. They won't have as much of a contest, while Ludicky still has to go through the field. So Ludicky will have to come from behind as opposed to starting up front with those guys. So that will definitely change up our feature start, assuming everything holds.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how Brady can bounce back on the feature race, because so far it's been a disappointing heat race number 2 after challenging Nick on the first heat. He cannot get outside of 10th place right now, but this battle seems to be going so well. Unfortunately, we're going to be seeing these drivers on the back end of the grid for our feature race.
And we've added 1 car to this line. That's going to be Chris Brunner back here, even after his mistake into, what was that, turn 8, where he lost so much time. They stay nose to the tail just with that 2 car. And oh, Flanagan has got problems. He's got a spin. And they all get through.
Looks like a bit of a contact, I'm gonna guess, because that was a puff of smoke. Looks like from locking up tires under braking, and after that was kind of smoke from trying to stop the car from spinning. But we're gonna take a look at the replay to make sure we know what's happening. So looks like might be done on the braking, might be done on the throttle. We're just gonna be taking a look as David Flanagan brakes normally on the racing line. He locks up the tires himself. Looks like he locked up the rear tire, and unfortunately that made his car spin.
And, oh, there was that contact with Lubenow, and, oh, Cody Johnson got into the back of the 11 car and sent him into a little slide. Thankfully, he only just clipped Flanagan. That could have been really bad. Flanagan did spin as he tried to get the car righted, but he's on his way now. Cody Johnson got that position, though, over Lubenow. I can't imagine that Brady will be thrilled about it.
Yeah, exactly. Brady's not going to be happy about it, but I guess he's going to be happy to keep going on his car because it was just a hair between him and disaster right there. But unfortunately for David Flanagan, from 0 to 0 in just a few corners, just 1 corner essentially, he finds himself in last place.
It's a 4.6 second gap from 2nd to 1st. There's a battle back here. This is for 5th spot. Runner looked up the inside of turn 2, but car number 2 can't make it happen. They stay, well, no, now they get side by side up ahead momentarily. Voigt gets the advantage as now Brunnemer has the draft on Peters, so consider that a position change, I'd imagine, by turn 6. Yes, it is. And Brunnemer might have a move on BC Voigt into the hairpin, 3 wide. No, they cleared Peters, but still side by side into the hairpin. Brunnemer around the outside, 2-for-1 special between turns 4 and turn 6.
Looks like that's his place. That's his textbook move so far on the night. Another double overtake, as we do have a bit of tour bang, it looks like. And we do have a spin. It looks like James Henson unfortunately spun himself by himself on the exit of the hairpin.
A lot going on. There's this little trio really getting heavy. Oh, man, Lubenow gets back in front of Cody Johnson. That was where that slide was that made me say, ooh, out of turn 6. And Johnson thankfully saved it, but Lubenow capitalizes, gets on by, and everybody just continues to race as the leader, Ludicky, continues to check out, now up to 5 seconds to Wade Hayes, who has company still from Rudebush. But we're watching BC Voigt behind Chris Brunner now, still with company from Corey Peters, and Gurgis has joined this little battle.
Gurgis was very, very aggressive on heat race number 1. Is he going to be aggressive on heat race number 2? Only time will tell, but he's definitely closing the gap as this battle just heats up. As we do have someone, looks like, going all the way off.
BC Voigt across the racetrack. Oh, that was a good catch.
That was a good catch. I'm pretty sure his heart is on his mouth because he just dipped the wheel under exit and, well, he found himself mowing the whole front lawn of the Hockenheim circuit.
Yeah, that could have gone rather poorly. Thankfully saves it and lives to see another corner as he works through turns 2, 3, and 4. 2.5 minutes left to go. Let's check in on our race leader, even though he's Oh, he's checked out by almost 6 seconds. He got to clean air, no damage on that 16 car, kept it all clean through all of that melee, and he has absolutely checked out. Ooh, some contact for second. Rudebush up the inside. He moves that 83, and they'll run side by side. Brunner was sideways out of turn 6, but these two, well, they don't stay side by side. Rudebush gave it back before turn 7, now in a Mercedes.
Looks like Rudebush is very, very aggressive. He wants the second place. He definitely wants those points to try and catapult himself up in the championship, but I'm pretty sure Wade Hayes is going to have none of that. He definitely wants to finish second. I guess it's going to be first place for... It's going to feel like a first place because Nick Ludicky is on another postal quit at this moment in time.
Into Sachs this time, turn number 12, that banked corner in this nice little arena section, and second place. Oh, Brunner, he locks up into the corner, runs wide, keeps that position over Peters though, but second place is going to be a fun little battle on this, assuming we get this final lap this next time through. Ludicky across the stripe. Does he take the white flag? Yes, white flag being shown, 1 lap to go. Things are going to get fun.
Yeah, exactly. Things are going to get a lot fun, especially for this battle up to second. Expect a move on the hairpin from Mikel. He's definitely going to be pushing that Porsche to its limits, but obviously expect more moves all the way down into the field because drivers, these are the last opportunities to make some points, and obviously thinking about that start on the feature race.
Flanagan has fallen back to the 12th and final position, so he should get the pole for our feature event, our 30-minute almost endurance race. Watching the battle for second, the battle for fourth getting spicy as well. They stay single file for second, so here's Peters as he has to deal with Chris Brunner. You see there's still single file up ahead, but that 2 car up the inside of the 97. No, as Gurgis locks up. I think Brunner tries to get the run on the exit of the corner. Does he get it? Not quite. So no fight into turn 7 just yet, but still nose to tail. Neither Wade Hayes nor Corey Peters can make a mistake.
Look on the inside, Mikhail Rudebush, he's going to be looking to a move. He's a bit too far back to make the move, but, well, this guy is definitely far away from everybody to be safe from a move. He's 8.4 seconds ahead of second place, so he's definitely going to be checking out. And he's coming up to turn number 12. He's safe and sound. He's definitely going to be taking this checkered, and after starting from last place, he does the last 2 first on a 15-minute race.
Out of turns 15 and 16 for the final time in sprint race number 2. And Nick Ledecky will come across the start-finish line. A sprint race number 2 race winner. Keeps it 100%. Keeps that 1,000 this season. Wins the second race of the evening, but he's got 1 more to go. And it's the feature 30-minute race. Second place will go to Wade Hayes. Ruderbush will take third. Brunner hangs on. Oh, no, maybe not. He's in the wall hard.
Looks like Corey Peters might have got him on the exit, on the final stretch, essentially, of the race. Looks like we might have a photo finish between these guys, and one car might not be pointing at the right direction. As we're going to be taking a look at the replay, looks like Chris Brunner looks like he's all set. Oh, he got a bit loose on the second to last corner. He seems to be going well. Does he run out of fuel? No, he just essentially just goes left, right?
Well, it cut it off, of course, because that's the way iRacing tends to go with heat races. We'll have a 10-minute warm-up to recap some of these results, but I want to show this, and I got a preview of it while we were waiting on things to load, but I've only seen this happen once before, and this was Adam Thompson at Spa in Cross Series League Racing, where he threw the car into a spin. Little preview, kind of spoiler alert, because that's what's going to happen here. He throws the car right, then back left, and just chucks the car around. At that point, he had crossed the line, so he sacrifices nothing. But a crash across the front stretch is not at all ever to be expected. But hey, he loses nothing out of it, still finishes in that 4th spot.
Well, then I guess it's no harm, no foul. Luckily for him, unlike Adam Thompson, it was after the flag, so I guess there was no heart beating on that incident.
Yeah, certainly a lot less at stake, where Adam Thompson almost lost that race. If you're not sure what we're talking about, I suggest you go back and watch it in Cross Series League Racing a couple of weeks back in Delara, IRO1s at Spa. But let's take a look. We can't really take a look at our race results. iRacing doesn't give that to us because of the heat race format, but I can read it back from the replay. And, well, finishing first, of course, was Nick Ludicky. Still got to get used to that one. Wade Hayes finished second. Rudebush third. Corey Peters took fourth. Brunner fifth. Christian Gurgis hung on for 6th position. BC Voigt 7th. Brady Lubenow 8th, Cody Johnson in 9th, Curtis Jones 10th, James Hansen fell to 11th, and David Flanagan in the 12th position. Reverse that, and that is our grid coming up for our 30-minute feature race. We will take a step aside. I'll be right back to you with post-race coverage. I'm so used to that. We'll be right back to you in a few moments with continuing warm-up coverage and feature race coverage in just a few moments. Stay with us. This is coverage of the Pacific Challenge Cup Series on Pit Stop TV.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Welcome back. The virtual Hockenheimring in Hockenheim, Germany. We just saw two fantastic sprint races, JP. Somehow, Nick Luedecke recovered to win both of them. He started on pole for the first one, lost the lead on lap 1, and had to really work for it. Then he got put to the back end of the grid for sprint race number 2 with our reverse grid now with our new race format. Yet he still worked up to the race lead, won the thing in dominating fashion, and will start 12th place for our feature 30-minute race. A lot's gone on this evening. If you're just joining us for the first time after catching the first couple of races here in the Pacific Challenge Cup Series, we've got a new race format. This is a nice little rundown of it. There's not a whole lot going on, nothing crazy, nothing earth-shattering, but now we're running 2 sprint races, 15 minutes apiece, as opposed to the one 20-minute race we had the last couple of weeks, followed up by a 30-minute feature, as opposed to a 40-minute feature. We do still expect pit stops in that 30-minute race, but we see the reverse order grids set by the previous race for both Sprint 2 and the feature race. So that's where things are changing for the most part. The time isn't even crazy. Throwing an extra race in isn't all that crazy. It is the reverse order that is changing things up this evening.
Well, it didn't really change up for our leader, did it? I was expecting him to kind of struggle a bit more on that 15-minute race, but on lap 1, he was essentially already in the top 5, so we kind of knew the result, but you know, it can be different. We saw Brady Lubenow struggling quite a bit in the reverse grid, only finished, I'm pretty sure, 8th place. So we could be seeing Nick struggling a bit at the start, but I'm expecting more of the same. Obviously, he has twice as much time right now to make up all that ground. And he did it in 15 minutes. He did it even less. So kind of 30 minutes, he can take it a bit easier, but I doubt he will.
You see the heavy cloud cover this evening in Hockenheim, Germany. Let's take a look at our race weather. 70 degrees in the air, 72 on the racetrack. That's keeping it cold, keeping it a little bit greasy, keeping it a little bit slick for these drivers. You would think usually hot racetracks would be bad, and obviously really hot racetracks can be bad and hard to race on, but cold racetracks are also pretty tough, so not having a lot of heat in the pavement is working against these guys, especially on cold tires. It's taking longer to get the tires up to temperature, certainly working against the drivers, but look at that wind speed, 15 miles an hour. It's dropping now, but that is a lot. 14 now. Thankfully, we're not in open-wheel cars, very aero-sensitive race cars, but that will still be messing with these guys, especially depending on the direction. This is coming out of the southwest, so I gotta find a map with the north direction. So that will be coming, it looks like, basically across the paddock, thereabouts. Basically from turn 16, pretty much, that final corner of the lap, and across, basically to pit entry. So if we can kind of visualize that, we'll bring up our track map. That was not the right button. There we go. We'll bring up the track map. It's coming pretty much from the Sud curve up across Sachs and up towards turns 2, 3, 4, and Parabolica turn 5. It's crossing the circuit in that direction. I can imagine that would get some cars loose into turn number 2, the tailwind. That's really the only place I see too big of an effect, to be honest. I don't know that it would really mess with the car anywhere too much else.
Yeah, exactly. It could mess up a bit on turn number 16, but it's kind of difficult. Obviously, turn 2 is going to be the biggest challenge. It's already a traction zone. We saw some drivers struggling, so it could play a factor there. Kind of difficult. As you mentioned, these are not very aero-sensitive cars, but you know, it could be interesting to see a few drivers losing to gust of wind like Nico Rosberg did in 2015.
Only time will tell. 30 minutes for our feature event this evening, our main race. Let's take a look at the starting grid. Obviously, like I said, by reverse order of our second sprint race, on pole is David Flanagan in the 789. Starting second, you see James Hansen in the 01. Starting third this evening will be none other than Curtis Jones in the 9 car. Starting fourth, you've got Cody Johnson in the 5. Starting fifth will be Brady Lubenow in the 11. He almost won that first race. He could have a pretty good run here in this 30-minute event. BC Voigt will start from 6th. 7th starting position goes to Christian Gurgis. 8th to Chris Brunnemer. 9th goes to Corey Peters. 10th, Mikhail Rudebush. And the back row, the front row of our finishing order in sprint race number 2, Wade Haynes and Nick Ludicky. He's got to do it from the rear of the field once more. We'll see if he can, as we have just about every car on the grid, just waiting on Mikhail Rudebush, it looks like. And we have him on the grid this evening, getting ready to roll into our race session, just waiting on everybody to get gridded up. We actually don't see Mikhail Rudebush. Green lights are out, and they all fire off. That was a late start from Flanagan. We've got to race to turn 1. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, some more. They haven't wrecked just yet. Somehow they keep it rolling forward wide into turn number 2. I don't know what's happening. Curtis Jones around, David Flanagan around. What just happened?
What a start. I was going to mention that was going to be a graveyard on turn 1. It was the best case scenario on a sandwich. Apparently everybody got saved except
Ludiky's already in 4th.
as our race leader, he's going to be challenging. Could he challenge for P1 already on lap 1? Looks like he's not close enough, but they're going to be going 3 wide at turn 7 on the air. But can they make it without contact? Yes, they can, but look at Nick. He's going to be having the best exit possible, and can he challenge for the podium? Looks like he's going to be going side by side and challenging for 3rd place as they head into turn 8.
Incredible stuff on this opening lap. Just like last time, we'll recap this here in a moment. Ooh, contact to Ludiky. He gets punted off the course almost by Cody Johnson, but he hangs on to it, stays 3rd position as he works in front of that 5 car. This is the battle for the race lead. Christian Gurgis and James Hansen. I don't think either one of these drivers can hold anything to Nick Ludiky once he gets to him.
Yeah, exactly. We saw Gurgis being very aggressive on the braking when he was overtaking. If he's that aggressive while defending, he could stand up a chance under the late braking moves of Nick, but only time will tell, as we do have Chris Brenneman. Looks like he's going to be looking on the outside of the final sequence of corners. Looks like he's going to be on the outside of turn 15 and 16 and 17. Only time will tell if he's going to make it out of there alive. He's still side by side. He's now going to be on the outside of turn 1. That's not going to work out, I don't think. But just as I mentioned, that he makes quick move and finds himself, looks like, in 4th place as they head into turn 1.
And we'll take a look at that replay if we can now. I'm still confused as to what just happened on the start of that race. We're going to go way back and get a look at things here. So this is from the start, waiting on them to... We hear the motors revving, and they wait on it, and there they go. They launch. What happens to Flanagan off of this start? We see the 9 car took it 3 wide and a little bit of contact there. 3 into 2 just doesn't work. Flanagan hangs on, body slams Curtis Jones. Then he spins. Curtis Jones has problems later on where he's crashing and he goes for a spin right there. Nearly clips Corey Peters, nearly clips Brady Lubenow, and then more happens up the road, all in turn number 2 just about. Somehow they get through all of this, they keep racing, and we only lost 2 cars, a little more contact back there, and then you see all of this up to turn 6, and this is where I mentioned Ludiky was already in that 4th position, the 3 wide in front of him. I'm glad he backed out. Let's ride on board with him for this 6th corner before we go back live. What a first lap.
We're definitely going to be having I need to look at a replay of Nick's lap 1, because his start was absolutely phenomenal from 12th place all the way up into 4th. That was absolutely amazing. We saw a lot of drivers losing, and he's already up to 2nd place. Looks like he made quick work of looks like James Hansen lost on this lap, and well, he's going to be making quick work of Christian Gurgis, and he's going to be on his way for yet another win.
We see the sun is getting ready to set as well. How far into nighttime will we go? It's a fickle thing, iRacing's day to night transition. So as soon as it starts to get dark, it will get really dark. It just happens very, very quickly. And with the cloud cover as well, we're not going to know exactly when that's going to happen. It's kind of muting the effects, but we can see the glow around the caution lights around the track. We saw that very bright green, the bloom effect around that light around turn number 2. So you can see it as well on the inside there of turn number 5. You can see how bright that is at this point in the evening. Side by side, though, maybe to turn 6. Ludiky waits, and this is what we saw him doing. He was battling Lubenow. He would wait, cross him up out of the corner, and I mean, he's just so good at it.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, right now, he looks like he lost a bit of traction on the exit of the hairpin, but he's definitely going to be looking on the inside of turn number 8. Christian looks like he doesn't go defensive. He stays on the middle of the road. That's enough to say to Nick to back off, and looks like he's going to be following for the time being. Right now, he's just applying pressure. He knows he has the pace. Look at how close he gets. Can he look on the inside of turn number 12 of Mobile 1? Looks like he just backs off. He knows he has over 25 minutes to make that move. It's just a matter of time right now. But he's definitely looking racy and very, very aggressive.
This is getting fun, and it's going to stay fun, I think, for a while. Gurgis has been one of the most aggressive, if not the most aggressive driver in this entire field. He's hung on longer, honestly, than I thought he would have, because Ludecki's just been so quick. That's not against Christian. Nick is just so good. I thought he would already have this race lead, but he's proving to be a bit more patient. Of course, he's got 24 minutes more to work with. He's got time.
Exactly, time is perfectly on his side as Chris Burnham sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:41.2. Now Chris is getting closer to this top 3 essentially, and if he gets close enough, if Nick doesn't get past Christian Gurgis, well, Chris Burnham could find himself maybe challenging Nick. Only time will tell, but he's definitely closing up because he's the fastest man on track right now.
Into turn 6. This is lap number 4 of an expected 18 this evening in our feature event. We do still expect pit stops. I wonder when those will come for these drivers. I'd imagine that pit window should open up quick. Hansen, a little shot to the shorts there of Nick Ludecki. He falls back, and now he's got to worry about Chris Brunnemer. We've also seen an aggressive strategy so far out of the 2 car of Chris Brunnemer, so I wonder how this battle could go for the bottom step of the podium. Ludecki, though, still all over our race leader.
Looks like Christian Gurgis is Chris Burnham's best friend right now for a shot at that win. Nick is definitely going to be wanting to make quick work. He gets a perfect exit out of turn 10. Can he make the move? No, looks like he's being a little bit cautious on this feature race. And yeah, that was perfectly smart. Looks like he's going to be holding on Sex's corner. Can he make the move? No. Well, Nick is definitely biding his time, definitely taking his time and just applying pressure. And Christian Gurgis, I got to say, excellent job of handling the pressure. Not a lot of mistakes. Obviously, he's losing a bit of time here and there, but not a lot of mistakes to essentially lose a heap ton of time in a ton of positions.
It's getting darker. You still see some yellow up in the sky. I think we've got a little bit more time, but it is getting darker and darker in the sim. I wonder how this is going to affect the race car drivers. Of course, your reference points start to change. Now, we haven't had too many shadows all afternoon, all evening long because of the cloud cover, but even so, your reference points change. You lose a little bit of definition in everything that you're looking at. It's not quite as bad as in real life, where things really darken up, and of course, the cameras in the sim and just the sim in general makes it a bit brighter, but this is still getting to be quite interesting. It continues to darken up. Meanwhile, 22 and a half minutes to go, and it's just a matter of time until Ludecki decides to make the move. He might make it here in 6. We've seen him cross drivers over all night long. Does he try it again? He tries it. Is it going to work?
Looks like it's not close enough, but he may have gotten a better exit at turn 7. Can he make the move on turn 8? Oh, looks like he might be close enough. Will Christian Gurgis challenge down the inside? Yes, he does. Looks like, oh, they go so close. Nick is forced on the curb essentially, and while he's gonna be making the move on the outside, no, he doesn't. He just did it. Oh, that's a perfect move to do on those Porsches. That's a high downforce. That's an open wheel move, and he's done it. And it looks like Chris Burnham made his way up into P3.
That looked perfectly like Lewis Hamilton making easy work of somebody. That you're right. That looked like an open wheel move for sure. Working around the outside and just planting that car so perfectly. He's obviously got this car under control now. It's really hard to just look at a car and tell if there's a wing difference, but it does look like he's got some decent angles. So if we can see the difference in wing angle, it looks like he's got a good one, but it's really so hard to tell. Regardless, though, takes over the race lead, and I don't think he'll be looking back.
Definitely won't be looking back. He already has a half a second gap to Christian Gurgis, and he only overtook him, I guess, 1.5 sectors ago, so he definitely has the pace. As it looks like Brady Lubinow is trying to get past Johnson at this moment, and he's still all the way down in 6th place, so he looks like he lost 1 spot over his starting position. Definitely not the races that Lubinow was hoping for after his brilliant 2nd place on heat number 1, as he's trying to make quick work of Johnson. Looks like he might not be close enough for a dive bomb, but as the battle definitely heats up for 2nd place.
Yeah, Brunnemer is he's closed in on that 151. He didn't have a chance there in turn 6 in the hairpin, but he's getting closer and closer. You see the running lights on these Porsches, kind of just those fog lights in the bumper. They are just getting brighter. I love this aesthetic on a racetrack. As Hansen, a little bit of lockup there into turn number 8. They work through Mercedes, and Brunnemer might have a move right here. He is all over the back end of this 151.
And Brunnemer is definitely looking a lot more racy than Ludecki was, so I'm expecting to see braver moves from him. could be seeing a move on Zach's corner. Looks like he might not be close enough, but he's definitely applying pressure. And well, the question is, if he gets past Gerges, can he challenge Nick? The answer could be no, but you never know, as Mikael Rudebusch right now bags himself 141, a great pace. Unfortunately for him, he finds himself on 10th place and a whole lap down.
Certainly a reason to highlight this driver, though. Now, he did not make it to the grid. He is 1 lap down, but oh, look at that. Ledecky. Well, he lays it all back on the table. He takes that purple lap right back away from Mikael Rudebusch. So as quickly as Mikael gets it, I don't know if he even knew that he got it, considering they don't get those notifications usually in the sim. As soon as Mikael got it, Nick went out there and said, nope, I'll be taking that one back.
And that was not even close. That was 0.8 of a second. So big gap for fast lap of the race. And I guess just shows the driver that Nick is, that's kind of where we're expecting. And as you can see visually, the gap is just increasing lap after lap after lap. And well, this is just going to keep growing for the next 18 minutes as we do have another lockup. And it looks like Christian Gerges spun all on his own as he comes very close to taking out Brady Lubinow on that rejoin.
So problems then for the very aggressive 151. We'll take a look back and see what happens. Is this all on his own? Is he just feeling the pressure from Chris Brunnemer? I think so. Brunnemer's nowhere near him into the hairpin and in the braking zone. Does he lock up the rears like we saw earlier? Not quite. He just kind of spins the car around, and I found that was easy to do in my testing to set up these cameras.
Yeah, looks like not. I'm gonna be guessing not enough downforce on the end. Looks like those rear tires was just having none of it on the grip essentially, and unfortunately for him, he just lost a heap ton of time and promoted this guy to 2nd place. Unfortunately, we got stolen off a nice battle that I was kind of looking forward to it, but well, Chris is definitely going to be thanking, as looks like right now Brady Lubinow got past Johnson and finds himself in 4th place, has essentially a double move after that mistake from Gerges.
But Gerges Haynes right with him. He's just in behind Cody Johnson, and Corey Peters isn't even that far back. You're pretty hard-pressed to find a car after that. You have to go all the way back to Wade Hayes, although Hayes has company currently from BC Voigt after his little excursion down the front stretch. So these two could have their nice little battle back here as we have 17 minutes to go, and we're getting closer and closer to that pit stop if we do still have it. I mean, this is a bit of an unknown for us. I'm actually not sure. I wasn't briefed earlier on if the fuel limit was changed in accordance. It's down to 30%. I'm just not entirely fluid with these race cars enough to know if they're going to have to pit. Brunnemer has company. James Hansen all over him.
Yeah, exactly. The fuel level was dropped to 30 liters. Unfortunately, like you, this is one of the few cars that I haven't touched, 30%, sorry, on the road racing aspect, as it looks like James Hansen gets extremely deep under brakes and managed to get the car slowed down all the way into turn 8. So this battle is going to be heating up. James Hansen was making a few mistakes on tonight's race, but well, he seems to be keeping up with Chris Brunnemer.
You see the dabs of brake from Chris as he works through turn number 12. Was that, turn 11 through Mobile 1. Now turn 12, Sachs corner. I'm liking this from Brunnemer. This is the best run we've seen him have so far. He had little moments of brilliance, but if I'm being honest, he rage quit last week at Oran Park. He got a bit frustrated, made a couple of mistakes, and dipped out of the session pretty early. This is a good little comeback for him. Hopefully he sticks with it. You see headlights on. We are into the nighttime hour.
Yeah, exactly. This is a complete opposite race from what we saw last week. He has made us, I guess, not a single mistake, not that I can remember, and well, he's doing a fantastic race up in 2nd, as looks like we do have Corey Peters on the pit, so the first driver to open up our pit window with 16 minutes to go.
Comes down the pit lane and works into his pit stall, and he will come to a stop there to the attention of his crew. I'm curious as to whether or not we see tires. I wouldn't imagine so. 30 minutes, I don't think we'll see any tires go on these race cars. He doesn't take any that time through. I don't think we'll see any go on these race cars this evening.
Yeah, not only the time question, this circuit, I'm pretty sure it's not tire demanding essentially. Oh, it looks like James Hansen got kind of drifting through the hairpin, but manages to catch it midway through, as it looks like Brady Lubinow might be joining the 2nd place battle party, as well, he's finally found his pace after a disappointing heat number 2. He finds himself in 4th place, but he has to pass not only James Hansen, but also Chris Brunnemer if he wants to repeat that Heat 1 result.
Yeah, after an abysmal second sprint race. He's really got to change things up, and he has so far. We'd be coming up to the end of another 15-minute race right there, so he has certainly done better for himself in this round of things. Obviously, everything happening on the start probably helped him. A big lockup there from Brunnemer. He diamonds the corner and gets off, and, well, stays ahead. Oh, boy, that was a save from James Hansen. Which of these drivers comes in first, JP? Well, none of them that time through. Pit stops are looming. An undercut could be helpful.
Yeah, exactly. If you feel like you have the pace to get the position essentially on clear air, you definitely have to go for the undercut, but it looks like none of these drivers are going for it. Obviously, Chris is going to be, I guess, the last one to stay out. That doesn't really make a lot of sense because he has a healthy gap, but it looks like Brady Lubinow might not even be thinking about the undercut if he can get the move done on James Hansen beforehand, and he looks like he's putting James under pressure as they're now going to be heading into Parabolica. And we do have another battle. It looks like Johnson is pedaling Gerges right now as Gerges is dropping off pace. They're going to be going side by side through turn 5 and definitely side by side in the braking for the hairpin.
Side by side for the 5th position on the racetrack. The 5 and 151 into the hairpin. Just past halfway, and Gerges takes it in the very slow moving turn number 6. Fantastic move that time. Aggressive, but much less aggressive than we've seen earlier on in this event, and I like that. He's toned it back a little bit. I think that's the perfect amount of aggression that he should be performing this evening. Certainly better than some of the moves we saw in the first heat. Oh, what? I say that, and they're both backwards. That couldn't be any more perfect timing. Oh, boy.
That's just commentator curse on its finest, unfortunately for us. But we just caught it, and, well, that might just be over-aggression, as you mentioned, Andrew. Sometimes it can help you, but sometimes it can hurt you a lot more.
Let's check out what happens between these two. Now, they've sorted out back by one another live. This is, of course, the replay. That's the pass in turn 6 that I spoke so highly of. And the incident's going to happen into turn 8, into Mercedes. They take the right-hander turn 7, the nice little kink, and set you up for the braking zone. What happens? Oh, the lunge, and Johnson almost missed the back end of the 151. Couldn't quite stay out of the back end of that Porsche, and they have contact. In all of this, I mentioned they came out by one another, but Cody Johnson has just taken his car to the pit lane for his service.
So he's taking that opportunity. Obviously, his tires after that massive lockup are going to be overheating. So he's definitely going to be taking this opportunity to drive a bit slower. Obviously, stop the car, allow him to fill up to the end, and obviously takes those tires to a rest, as we do have another, the 64 right now, also coming into the pits.
BC Voigt in the pit lane along with Cody Johnson. Corey Peters has worked by them. Oh, and Cody took tires. Did BC Voigt take tires? I don't think so. So they will leave next to one another. So Cody clearly felt like he needed them after those issues that he had those last couple of laps, especially that problem into turn 8. Nick Ledecky now working into the final few corners. Does he pit this lap possibly?
I'm not pretty sure he's coming into the last sector. He could pit. Obviously, he has a fantastic gap, a very, very healthy gap. And I'm pretty sure the moment he pits, everybody's going to be following him because they're going to be probably thinking it's going to be the best time. But I'm pretty sure overheating tires are not a concern for him right now because his gap is nearly 6 seconds.
He'll work into turn 15. The option to pit to his right side. Keeps the car concise, and he is pitting.
Ow! He definitely is pitting right now, and, well, let's see if everybody's going to be following him. Well,
yep,
just as I
everybody.
Everybody's following him, all three. Now it's going to be a question to not only maximizing your pit entry, but also your pit cycle, essentially. Just taking as little fuel as possible, and, well, hopefully you can jump your rival.
Ludicky will stop just out of focus. Gerges coming in as well. He comes into the pit lane. Everybody coming in for service. These three all on top of one another. I can't wait to see how they sort out. Oh, Hansen running through the pit boxes. He takes a fast repair. You can see the door kind of pop back out. Ledecky, he leaves. Brunnemer leaves. Lubinow leaves. And Hansen leaves. They're still on top of one another, especially Hansen and Lubinow.
Yeah, Hansen unfortunately lost out one position right now. Lubinow is up into 3rd place. And, well, he only has one car in front of him to repeat that heat run result, but I'm pretty sure James Hansen is going to be a bit more aggressive to try and get the podium place back.
Everybody's pitted that time through. The interesting thing, these guys made up 1.3 seconds on the Ludicky. You can see how much closer they are. And Hansen always giving the flashers to Lubenow. They are teammates. I think that's just out of fun, flashing that 11 car. But they are much closer to Ludicky. They've got to keep him honest at the very least.
Yeah, exactly. Ludicky lost a lot of time.
We lose JP for a moment there, but I think it was just a matter of a longer stop. Likely took a little more fuel, trying to play it safer. He's got the gap with which to do so. Of course, these guys like Brunnemer, who took much less time on the pit lane than anybody else in that cycle. He's got to be more aggressive. He was more aggressive, and I think that's why he has worked out at a slower pit stop time.
Yeah, exactly. But at this moment in time, if he has his tires cool, he could be going for another fastest lap. That gap is way down, though. It's really weird to see Ludicky losing a lot of time on pit entry. We saw last week he actually gained time over everybody, so I'm definitely going to be trying to take a look at that after the race to see what happened.
Likely just a matter of being easy, I think. He doesn't have to try too hard. That sounds kind of bad to say, maybe, but he had such a gap that he was able to be very easy into the pit entry, didn't have to press anything, and it is a little bit of a wonky pit entry. He might not have known exactly when the pit lane time or the speed started as well. You have to wait quite a ways until those cones further into the pit lane. That might have been part of it. He works into turn 2, now only 2.3 seconds back to Brunnemer, and maybe even closing a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. That gap seems to be shortening a bit, and that's definitely going to be cheering up Chris Brunnemer, because if he sees that gap on his relative box shrinking, he's definitely going to be having the motivation to push even harder and probably shrinking even more, because right now the gap between him and Lubenow is less than 0.2 of a second, but I'm pretty sure right now he might be only focused on that leader.
You can see how close Lubenow is. He's just all over that back end of the 2 car. We're into the final 8 minutes as of... Wait on it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8 minutes to go. Boy, these guys are going to start to get feisty as if they haven't been already.
Yeah, exactly. Right now it's going to be the all or nothing, and looks like might have been nothing for, I'm pretty sure, Wade Hayes.
Yes, a problem for the 83 car. And was this turn 5? This is Parabolica by the looks of things. So this is headed down towards turn number 6, the hairpin, where he's going to have his problems. And he's got Cody Johnson looking up the inside. Is there contact? No. Wade Hayes just throws the car into a slide like we've seen so many do this evening. Does a quick donut, gets back on his way.
Well, he did essentially what Christian Gerges did, but I guess he gets style points for that awesome 360, just putting those smoke out there. That was amazing, but unfortunately for him, lost 2 positions.
We aren't going to quite get to the pitch black hours of nighttime, but boy, this sunset is beautiful here in Hockenheim, Germany. Let's actually take a look at it from our scenic blimp and just take a look at things. Man, I love what iRacing has done. It's been a couple of years now that it's been on the sim, but I come from a time before this. The good old days when it was just always static, and this is just such a fantastic look.
Exactly. This is amazing to see. I'm pretty sure Nick, with that gap that he has right now, he's definitely going to be looking at that sky and I guess contemplating on those straight, because that's just beautiful to look at, and a beautiful racetrack as well.
And a battle side by side for second position. Look at that. Brunnemer takes second place back, makes the move on his teammate Brady Lubenow. What can Brady do in defensive there? I guess back now, and it'd be an offense. He's got to get that position back. So Brunnemer takes that second place over. Or no, he had it, didn't he? Yeah, I'm sorry. So he defends for a moment longer. For some reason, I had it in my mind that Lubenow had taken it over, maybe foreshadowing possibly. I mean, he's all over this 2 car, and at some point, something's got to give.
Looks like Brady Lubenow right now is on his moment like he was on heat number 1, and he looks very, very racy. He looks extremely willing to go, I guess, over and beyond to try and get the second place and maybe challenge, because the gap to Ludicky is still 2.6 as Brunnemer takes the drag strip line on the final corner. That's definitely not going to be helping, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to be getting a slowdown, but that was an interesting line.
They just wanted to go out there to the grip strip where they've put all that those chemicals down to give you some grip once you launch down that drag strip. I don't know. He went out a little bit wide on a nice little excursion. Thankfully, not quite like BC Voigt all the way out to the grass, but certainly running a bit wide. Maybe Stewart's going to have a look at turn 14.
And thankfully for him, it's not rainy, so he didn't lose all that grip on his tires like we saw in the 2019 Grand Prix. But he's definitely going to be thinking, and Lubnau is definitely going to be trying to make a move. Looks like on the hairpin, he pulls to the inside. Can he be braver on the brakes? Remember, their teammates. Oh, looks like
he locked up those rears.
Yeah, he almost lost it like Gerges did, and looks like he's got a better exit after taking that white line. Yes, he did. He's going to be going on the outside of turn 7. And, well, he got the move done. He got on the curb, but, well, he retained his position.
Lubnau got right back to the apex, crosses up, but doesn't quite get alongside of the two-car, lunges for a moment, and can't make anything of it. We're down to 4.5 minutes. They've got to figure this out quick. They're costing themselves time to Nick Luedecke, and at this point, Nick can probably coast back around. And I shouldn't say coast back around, but he can relax, certainly. He's got 3 seconds back to these guys, and he could just keep them in his rearview mirror, keep them there, keep running. He's likely got more fuel than these guys, and he can coast. It's a Sunday drive at this point.
Yeah, exactly. At this moment in pace, he's just controlling the race. If he needs to push, I'm pretty sure he will, and he has the pace. But there's absolutely no need to do that. 2.7, 2.8 seconds is a healthy gap. Unfortunately for James Hansen, though, he's 8 tenths behind, and, well, he's losing a bit of touch to that battle. Losing a bit of touch to his teammates. So it looks like Brady Lubnau might be looking on the inside of turn 2. Yes, he is, and, well, looks like he got the move. Can Chris Brunemer hang around the outside? No, he cannot, and he has to yield that position.
Finally gives that spot up. Look at the pretty colors back there behind turns 2, 3, and 4 through Parabolica for one of the final times this evening. This is lap 16 of an expected 18. We'll get the 2 to go signal the next time through. Brunemer maybe around the outside here in turn number 6 to get that second position back. Hansen fills that gap and almost contact between the 3 teammates.
Brady Lubnau did absolutely everything he needed to do. He pretty much parked his car on the apex and didn't allow Brunemer to get the switch back, but Brunemer seems to have the momentum. Brady goes defensive on turn 8, closes the door, and, well, that's going to keep his position. But, well, James Hansen is definitely thanking for that battle because he's all back in the party.
See the 3 Pacific Sim Motorsport drivers all in lockstep formation at this point, all in a line. I'm not sure what's going to separate any of them at this point. They're all just so even. I'm sure they're sharing notes. You know, they're probably on the same setup here. As Brunemer locks up into turn 12 again. That seems to be his favorite move.
Yeah, it looks like Brunemer right now looks like he's struggling a bit of tires. Luckily for him, it's his teammate behind, so not overly aggressive. But he's definitely pushing. He wants that second place back, I'm pretty sure, as they only have 2 laps to go. As Brady Lubnau looks like right now he's checking up a bit, only 0.4 of a second, but definitely checking up a bit. Ooh, as he gets extremely loose on turn 1, but manages to save. That was one hell of a save, but unfortunately for him, lost quite a bit of touch to Brady.
That was a fantastic catch. Lunges into 2, but he doesn't hold it on exit, and we're going to have a battle for 3rd position as Hansen looks to the right side, and he will take that position at least to the right, and he will nose ahead of Brunemer. Brunemer's got problems. He has worn those tires out, and he possibly has less fuel. Side by side, they run through turn 5, and they'll come into the hairpin. And I think Hansen's going to have him unless Brunemer can really pull something out of the magic hat and get him on exit, and he's going to. Hansen botches turn 6 sideways out of the corner, and they stay side by side now. The 01 takes the position.
Hansen botched the entry. Unfortunately, Brunemer botched the exit, and Hansen finds himself on the podium right now, as looks like Chris Brunemer, all those lockups, all those off-track excursions, looks like are now costing his tires, and he drops from 2nd all the way back into 4th right now, and looks like he might be outside of the podium contention zone.
Boy, Corey Peters has got to be looking at his chops, looking at this battle up ahead. He just continues to make up some time. We haven't talked much about him, but as we come around to take the white flag momentarily, if there is any mistake out of those 2 ahead, and if they collide, Oh boy, he's got a podium coming his way. Corey Peters has got something working for that 97. Had a rough run of things earlier on in the first race. The second race was a little better, but this feature race of 30 minutes has really gone his way comparatively, and he's got an opportunity. It's not a fantastic opportunity, but it's an opportunity.
It's definitely a small chance. Unfortunately for him, he's going to be contemplating. Unfortunately for him, it's his team, our teammates battling, not rivals. But, you know, everything can happen on a race. Even we can have Nick losing the car and costing himself the victory. Very unlikely, but anything can happen at this moment as we are now on the final lap. And Nick didn't check out, as we kind of did not expect a 2.7 gap after the first and second race.
Into the hairpin for the final time at Hockenheimring, and the Rogue Energy VSR the Rogue Energy and VSR number 16 continues to lead as Chris Brunnemer has finally cracked under pressure, loops it in turn 6. If he makes another mistake, he's got to be perfect. Corey Peters is closing. It's still a large gap, but it's not large enough for him to get away with things if he keeps making small mistakes. Lubenow still 3 seconds back of our race leader, and it is just coasting time. Just relax if you're Nick Ledecky. So close to that wall. James Hansen has got problems. Oh, a vicious hit to the outside wall, and there goes Brunnemer. Here comes Corey Peters. Big problems for James Hansen on the final lap at Hockenheimring. There goes Christian Gurgis, his teammate, and Hansen will have to settle for, at best, 6th position out of turns 15 and 16 at Hockenheimring. Somehow, with 2 reverse grids, Nick Ludicky will stay perfect. He will continue to bat 1,000. He wins at Hockenheimring.
Absolutely textbook weekend from him. Absolutely textbook night, essentially, for him. I mean, can you get better than winning 3 out of 3 races, 2 of those being reverse grids? I don't think you can, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be happy with himself after this night.
James Hansen comes across the line after his issues, and he will finish 6th position. Oh my gosh, the heartbreak for both of those drivers in that final lap. And I can only imagine what was swimming around in Chris Brunnemer's head after his issue in turn 6. We will start there. He was tailing the 01 car, his teammate of James Hansen. What happens here? I would imagine he just either chatters the rears into turn 6 and spins it that way. Maybe a wheel spin? Yeah, he chatters the rears, locks it up a little bit, and does a quick little slide, stops, continues on. Thankfully, he didn't lose too much time. Peter stayed behind, couldn't capitalize, but then everything goes wrong for James Hansen.
Yeah, exactly. James Hansen, as you can see, was trying to battle Brady Lubenow for 2nd place. As you can see, he's just going to be getting on one of those sausage curbs on the exit. And yep, and that unfortunately just unsettles the car and hard into the barriers. Luckily for him, he was able to restart the car. As you can see, just a quick frustration trying to get back on the tarmac, but it was a bit too late. And unfortunately for him, that's a podium gone.
Wow. And that does it then from Hockenheimring. Racing is done. Post-race coverage on the way. Make sure to stick with us here at Pit Stop TV. We've got post-race coverage coming up. Post-race interviews, results, everything else. You'll want to stick with us. Don't go anywhere. Continuing coverage of the Pacific Challenge Cup Series just after this.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home by combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Welcome back to the virtual Hockenheimring in Hockenheim, Germany. 3 fantastic races, 3 thrilling events this evening in the third round of the Pacific Challenge Cup Series, but Nick Ledecky simply could not be stopped. Even with reverse grids in effect, this guy cannot be beaten. Nick, third week in a row. This time, you make it perfect through 3 races as opposed to 2. Even with those reverse grids that you wanted, how did you do it? And we did see that mistake into turn 1, but boy, we've got different definitions of chaos there, Nick. You must love living in chaos because the starts of both Heat 2 and the feature, you coming through the field especially, the first lap of sprint race number 2, you got up to 6th in 4 corners. The second lap, the first lap of the feature race, you're up to 4th through 4 corners. How? That is certainly one way to put it. You end up on top in all 3 races. Let's back up a little bit. What was it like trying to chase down Brady Lubenow in Heat 1 and then having to chase everybody down through the second couple of races, through race number 2, race number 3? It was the first time that we saw you have to pass anybody all season, and it was certainly fun to watch.
Yeah, honestly, in The first heat, I don't want to say. Yeah, I guess the best way to put it would be I got a bit nervous. Excuse me. Trailing behind him, he really, it seemed like, pushed his pace a bit more than I was, and gained some pace from where he was in the qualifying session. So I sort of was trying to keep up while also not destroy my tires, and managed to find a gap. And then the other races, I just had to make sure that I got through the traffic before there was a front pack of 2 or 3. And I know in the feature, there was a front pack of, I think it was Christian, Chris Brunnemer, and I forget who the third driver was there, but I was worried that they were going to break away and I wouldn't be able to catch the tow unless they really battled heavily.
And now, I do want to know, for this feature race, obviously we were speculating the pit stop would still be there. It was. I think fuel limits were adjusted. Has the strategy changed at all? Is it pretty much just the same with 5 minutes chopped off on each end? What is it like?
I apologize. Can you ask that one more time?
Yeah, has the strategy changed at all, losing 10 minutes in the feature race? Obviously, fuel limits were adjusted to maintain that pit stop, but has anything changed, or is it just the same with 5 minutes lopped off of each side?
Not much had changed, but I did find it quite funny. I found myself in a pickle where I was actually on the verge of running out of fuel, and then on top of that, I know Chris Brunnemer also had the same issue. I think he actually ran out of fuel coming across the line, so I'm not sure what had happened there, but it could have made for a much more interesting race had more drivers had those issues.
Obviously, we have the new format moving forward. For some reason, you still think those starts weren't chaotic, but Road Atlanta next week, I think, will definitely be chaotic. How do you pass in those opening laps, especially through the S's? You can't pass in the S's. How do you attack?
It's just going to have to be a one car at a time, and Road Atlanta is a track where through the S's, there's going to be carnage. There's going to be guys that are going to take the DNF in the first lap. So that being said, it's going to be avoid the carnage, get through lap 1, and then from there just focus on one car at a time. There's no sense trying to attempt a double pass or even a triple pass for that matter. It's just going to end in a DNF for yourself.
Fair enough. Nick Ledecky, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations on 3 more wins. Who do you have to shout out? Who makes it happen for you?
I have to give a massive shout out to one of my best friends, Philippe Deans, along with all of my friends watching, specifically Phil, because he is also an iRacer. It has been teaching me a decent bit, everything from setups to driving. He's a phenomenal guy, and if anyone else would be interested in his coaching, feel free to reach out to me because I can get you in touch with him.
Well, I think you got to get him into this field, buddy. I think you need more challenge up front. We can't wait to see how it goes at Road Atlanta, and I think it'll be even more challenging than this evening. And you really had to work for those positions. Can't wait to see how it goes. Can't wait to talk to you some more, I'm sure. Congratulations this evening. We'll see you stateside next week.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.
Nick Ledecky gets another one this evening. Well, 3 more, actually, which is more than ever before. Big time stuff here from the driver of the 16, but he had to work through this guy in that first race, Brady Lubenow, and I'll hand things over to JP Costa.
So Brady, obviously you started second on the first heat, and well, instantly before even turn 1, you found yourself in first place. How difficult was it to keep Nick behind you, I guess, throughout heat number 1?
That was some of the most fun racing that I've had these few races. I had a good launch on Nick, and I got him into T1, and I had the inside going in T2 and got it. And I know it's really hard to pass in this track, but I knew it was only a matter of time before he's going to be right on me for that long straight. So it was very difficult to keep him behind, especially like trying to pull away and get that 3/10 higher going into the long straight, because that's worth about 3/10 at the end. And you got to defend like crazy and get your braking marker right.
And unfortunately for you, you just came short on heat number 1, but on heat number 2, I was actually placing my bets on you due to you starting obviously ahead of Nick, but unfortunately it didn't go your way.
Yeah, the starts on this track with the reverse grids were very chaotic. I unfortunately started on the outside on the both inversions, and I think that was not a good thing. That I had to go super outside to avoid people, and then especially on that third race, that was just mad chaos at the beginning. People were hitting each other and everything, and yeah, it was crazy, but it was a lot of fun.
So we do have two opposite sides of the spectrum, because Nick said on his point of view, all the starts were not chaotic at all, and obviously you had the complete opposite experience. But obviously on the third and final race, you were battling your teammates. How fun was that?
Oh, that was amazing. I felt really bad on the second race. I got a little. I made too many car contacts. Felt really bad, but the third race was very, very clean and battling my teammates, and that was a lot of fun. That was some of the best racing that I've had.
And how does it feel to come out ahead of both of them and with a quite decent gap?
Oh, it was great, and it was amazing watching James spin in my mirror. No, I'm just kidding, James.
Yeah. You definitely have the bragging rights coming into the next race. And while talking about it, how are your expectations about Road Atlanta? Do you feel like it's a race that you feel comfortable, feel confident, feel fast, and maybe you can challenge Nick?
I love that track. It's a really fun track to drive. I've never driven it in this car, but it has some long drafting areas, so that will hopefully keep me in contention, and maybe a late move or an early good start can get me in front of him, and then hang on as long as I can.
Well, I'll definitely be looking forward to it. I definitely hope I can talk to you next week. Who do you have to thank for your result?
Oh, as always, my cat Trilobite, and then my parents. Thanks for watching.
I'm pretty sure they're absolutely happy with your result, and that's all that I need you for here tonight. So congratulations on your result, and hopefully I can talk to you next week.
Thank you so much.
That was Brady Lubinow, our second place finisher on the feature race, and I'm going to be passing it back to Andrew for our third place finisher, Chris Brunnemer.
And it's the first time in quite some time that we get to talk to this guy, Chris Brunnemer. Buddy, a couple of challenges through races 1 and 2, especially last week at Oran Park. And while you were still locking up a whole lot this evening, race 3 certainly went pretty good for you. Talk us through all 3 races for you, though.
Yeah, I'm not the greatest in the P Cup. The braking is really, really tough for me in these cars. Just some bad luck in the first few heats with getting tagged in turn 2 in the first heat. And then I believe the third heat, I spun coming into that left-hander after the hairpin, but the speed was always there. Just the consistency for me wasn't. I need more experience in these cars. Really, these other guys that are more consistent in these cars they just put so much more effort into these and have so much more skill in these cars than me. I just really need to step up my game.
So you're pretty critical of yourself through these first 3 rounds. In that case, obviously you have fantastic teammates around you and fantastic tools with which to improve. What do you think is the difference maker? What do you think gains you what you need to get a race win somewhere in these final 2 rounds, these final 6 races?
Yeah, I just need to get more seat time in these cars. There's been some special events the last few weekends that are really taking me away from practicing as much as I should in these cars, with the 500 this past weekend and then the Le Mans the previous weekend. So I just really need to get more laps, more seat time in these cars.
And specifically, what kind of seat time is it? Obviously, you can go out there and you can just lap cars all day long. Is it that? Do you just go into a test session, just run laps, become a little bit of a zombie, just get it in your system, muscle memory? Or do you have to go out there and do you feel like you need to get car-to-car racing? Do you feel like you need that kind of side-by-side comparison, you to other drivers, in order to improve?
Yeah, no, great question. For me, I've always been the type of person where there's no replacement for on track with other people in a race environment. There's no replacement for that. If you don't ever do any of that, you're never going to improve as a racer. You might be able to turn a fast lap, but you won't be able to actually utilize that speed. But for me, really, I didn't learn Oran until the night of, because I just had a bit packed weekend. And then for Hockenheim, I've had a lot of laps here in a lot of cars, just not in this car. I didn't start practicing until yesterday afternoon. So I just need to actually dedicate more time, do some more races, do more practice. So a little bit of everything.
Hey, I'm loving these in-depth answers, these really technical answers. I'll give you one more question then. what is the big difference maker? Obviously, we saw you absolutely go out there and run through the field in so many races in the first season we covered with you guys when you were battling with Garrett D'Alessandro. Last season even, you had a lot of these races on lockdown. It wasn't quite that first season performance, but we always knew Chris Brunner was going to be a threat for a race win. It's changed a little bit. What exactly is the difference? Because a lot of people look at the names of these cars, right? They look at the GT3 class, of course, with the Ferrari, the Audi, the Macca, etc. And then they look at the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup Car, but this car really can't run alongside the others. Why is that? Tell us about it.
Yeah, I kind of manhandle cars and kind of throw them around, and Nick and Jesse and Beats, they're just so smooth. Brady's really smooth. These guys are just smooth. And I kind of just throw the car in, throw it around. I'm rough on tires. I'm rough on fuel. I'm rough on brakes. I kind of just manhandle, throw it around. You can't do that with these cars. The brakes lock up when you even think about the brakes locking up. The back end steps around if you go too deep and get on the braking too hard. You can't manhandle and drive these cars hard. You have to be smooth. You have to be deliberate, but while smooth. I just don't have enough experience with that. These other guys that are faster and more consistent, they're just smooth. They're just way better in this type of car.
Loving the technical answers, buddy. Hopefully we get to talk to you more, because I'd like to get caught up with you after either next week or even Laguna Seca, one of the two, and get some more opinions after you have some more chances to practice. Congratulations on a podium. I know it didn't quite come how you wanted through those first couple of races, even in the third race probably, but a podium is a podium. Congratulations. Who do you have to thank?
I got to thank all the teammates. They really helped me with what the do's and don'ts of this track before I even stepped foot on it. So I was really ahead of the game before I even touched the track. So got to thank my teammates.
Once again, congrats on the podium finish this evening, and we can't wait to see you in 1 week's time stateside at Road Atlanta. We'll see you then, buddy. Best of luck.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Chris Brunner with a podium finish in the feature race. Those heats were challenging for him, but he held it together in the third of three races and gave us a show alongside his teammates Brady Lubenow and James Hansen. But it was all this man up front, Nick Luedecke, winning every single race, leading most laps. It's incredible what he can do. Let's take a look at our race results this evening, JP. We see our podium up there. We talked to all three of them, Nick Luedecke, Brady Lubenow, Chris Brunner. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly. Fantastic race from all three of them. Corey Peters finishes in 4th, Christian Gerges in 5th. James Henson unfortunately missed out on the podium in the final lap. That's got to be heartbreaking for him. He finishes in 6th place. Cody Johnson in 7th, Wade Hayes in 8th, BC Voigt in 9th, Mikael Rudbush in 10th, and the first driver to go a lap down.
You see Curtis Jones back here in the 11th position, 17 laps down. David Flanagan in the 12th position, 18 laps down. After those issues on the opening laps, they decided to call it a day. Must have had too much damage to continue, and that was it for them. It was certainly a tumultuous round here, and we can't thank any of our partners enough for allowing us to be here and allowing us to do this. Of course, Tucson Sound Art, your picture, your music. Make sure to use promo code PitStopTV at checkout for 10% off of your order today. Race Pays Setups, where you can get setups for these Porsche Cup cars to even help you out. Maybe if you want to join this series, get in on the fun. It would certainly be a great boost into, well, I would say pretty competitive lap times. Can't guarantee that the setup will make all the difference to go up there and race Nick Luedecke, but I'm sure you can get up there and mix it up with some of the best otherwise. Honestly, the setups from Race Pace are so amazing to drive. I think you can throw a monkey in that race car and it would pick up some pretty good time. It's just incredible, the setups that Race Pace has. Of course, these broadcasts also brought to you by Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, where you deserve the best care that money can buy. Whiplash Media, the official broadcast, camera, and graphic provider of Pit Stop TV. And BAM Racing, videos by a race fan and for the racing community. JP, 3 races down, 60 minutes of racing total. Final thoughts then from Hockenheim.
A fantastic racetrack, provided fantastic racing. Obviously, the man of the hour. A total of 7 wins right now. We only have 6 races in total left, so he got more wins than what is possible. So not a single person can catch him on that number. And well, I'm expecting more dominance. I'm definitely looking forward to next week. It's definitely going to be a complete different challenge from these drivers, but we see them overcoming those challenges each and every single week. And well, Cannot wait.
It was a fun one this evening from Hockenheimring. Not at all what I think any of us expected, but it was a good one nonetheless. A lot of action throughout the field. A lot of mistakes, and that really kept things close through a lot of different groups of race car drivers. It was a fun one. The Pacific Challenge never quite disappoints. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. That will conclude our coverage this evening from Hockenheimring of the Pacific Challenge Cup Series. We at Pit Stop TV thank you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. The channel, as always, stays active weekly and daily. Make sure to come back here tomorrow evening with the Norc iRacing Series at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Round number 8 of 25. Mid-season is in full swing. Can't wait to see what Daniel Falkingham and Zoltan Hergzeg and more can do tomorrow night. It'll be a fun one. Make sure to be there again. Homestead Miami Speedway. Fantastic racetrack with fantastic race cars and fantastic race car drivers to boot. Wednesday evening, we got the BRP Racing Series Asphalt Modified Tour from Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. That will be fun as well. I think that's a can't miss race. That's our first trip up to the Northeast with those tour mods up into their natural habitat. Make sure to be there 8 p.m. Eastern time here on Pit Stop TV. Thursday, no broadcast. Enjoy that one off, but we've got to have all you viewers right back here on Friday evening for the LTAC Cup Series at the Phoenix Raceway. We're heading out west in one of the final rounds of the regular season. You do not want to miss it. Joseph off of a very, very controversial win at Indianapolis, but it was his second in a row. Can he go 3 in a row? Quite possibly. We'll see what he can do in the... I blanked. Arizona. We're just going to call it Arizona. Out in the desert. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. And then Sunday evening, we've got Cross Series League Racing in their finale, also out west at, I almost said Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in the SCCA Spec Racer Fords. Definitely an interesting car. That'll be fun. Can't wait to see it. We can confirm Adam Thompson's won that championship, but there's still a whole lot of points positions to be figured out. Of course, make sure to tune back in next Monday night. We've got the BRP iRacing Series Pro Dirt Late Models just ahead of the next installment in this series when we go to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta in Braselton, Georgia. Tons of action on the way. This format's going to give us plenty to talk about next week. Stateside should be tons and tons of fun. 8 p.m. Eastern for BRP, 10 p.m. Eastern for the Pacific Challenge Cup Series round number 4. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/pitstoptv, on Twitter at pitstoptv_, on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/pit_stop_TV, on Instagram at pit_stop_TV, and on YouTube at www.youtube.com/c/pitstoptv1. For all of Pit Stop TV this evening, myself and JP Costa on the call, Emerson Arden on our social media coverage, and a shout out to Joe Donahue and Trey Shuttlesworth alongside me earlier on with BRP iRacing Series coverage as well. Thank you so much for watching this evening. Can't wait to see you next time, and I can't wait to see all of you interested in broadcasting here on the iRacing.com platform in my email inbox, andrew@pitstoptv.com. If you're interested, hit us up. Until next time, have a fantastic evening.